Hello Penguinauts, I'm the Beardy Penguin and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Space Race. Penguinauts, or should I say Comrade? Yes, because apparently I'm a bit of a Soviet in this series and Tape is a bit of a capitalist pig! Anyway, today we're launching yet another mission to the moon. I believe this is like Moon 6 or 7? Something like that. I've launched a lot of these, and we're only taking 2 crew members along because we've actually got somebody to rescue, not from orbit of the moon, but from the surface of the moon, and this pays quite a lot of money. So this is pretty much paying for the mission, and it's more of a scientific mission than a money mission. I mean, we're absolutely fine when it comes to money. We've got a few million funds, and yeah, it's pretty much just about getting the science now. I had a peek at Tape's save. I mean, I looked at his company's stock price, and yeah, we're ahead of him in technology and money. So get your game on, Tape. We're beating you in this space race. Anyway, this is obviously a new, well, slightly redesigned vehicle. I had to drain some fuel out of the solid rocket boosters to keep the weight down below 140 tons, but it now has a nuclear engine stage, or as Tape would say, nuclear. Sorry, I shouldn't make fun of the way Tape speaks. Although he tries so hard to get it right every time Tape says nuclear, without fail, he'll have to say it twice. He'll go nuclear, and he'll pause. And it's really amusing, and I can tell it annoys him, which is why I'm bringing it up, because it's really funny just watching him pause every time he says nuclear. I think we should all remind him that the V1 uses a pulse jet as well. Yeah, he's not going to be happy after watching this episode, especially after some of the things we do a little later on, but let's leave those as a surprise. Now, actually, here's something funny that I really do want to actually talk about. I mean, we recently hit 8,000 subscribers. Does that make me popular? Like, does that make me a popular YouTuber? I mean, I tend to describe myself as popular-ish, semi-popular-ish, like in quotation marks. Like, some people know me, and I have a small community. I wouldn't consider myself popular like that, but I was playing War Thunder yesterday, and somebody recognised me. I was just playing, and then I just get a random message, "Are you the Beardy Penguin?" And I was like, "Wait, what? Who is this?" And he was like, "Oh, it's a channel called the Beardy Penguin. I wonder if you made it." I was like, "Yeah, that's actually me. Wow, that's awesome. Are you a subscriber?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm a subscriber." I was like, "Oh, well, there you go." And then he shot me down, bastard. But yeah, that's the first time I've ever been recognised in a game. Although one of my subs did send me a picture once of somebody with the username of Unshaven Penguin, which was pretty funny that people are actually, well, just a random person had the username Unshaven Penguin. So I don't know. I guess hopefully I'll be recognised more in future. It's pretty awesome. If you ever do see me, I tend to use the username Bearded Penguin because when I made my YouTube channel, Bearded Penguin was taken, so I used the Beardy Penguin. But yeah, if you see me, usually there's not anybody else with that username, so feel free to message me and say hi. It's pretty cool. Most of the time, if people discover me on Steam, which a couple of subs have, I'll let them add me for an hour, and I'll usually play a game with them or something. But after a while, I will remove them again because otherwise, I don't like having my Steam friends list just absolutely fill up with random people that I don't actually know. So yeah, we're just planting our beautiful flag, getting our science from the moon's midlands, and all that good stuff. We rescued the person. We're getting pretty good at landing at specific places now after I've been practicing defiling Tape's flags. So yeah, there we go. Just write a truly inspiring message, and it's time to head home again. You know, Tape isn't so much like me when it comes to viewer interaction. He tries to hide, so his username on Steam is not TapeGaming. It's about as far from TapeGaming as you can actually get. But I'm not going to say it because he'd get very annoyed when suddenly there's like a swarm of subscribers run to add him on Steam. I mean, my Steam name isn't, as I said, it's not exactly like my YouTube channel, so most people can't find me that easily. But here we have we had enough Delta V, and we're in the right position. We just launched straight upwards and go straight back to Kerbin, and it was all very easy, all very simple. And just a very nice mission, all in all, really. It's, yeah, just quite nice, quite relaxing. Just a nice, calm mission to the moon. And we actually almost got to the Space Center, but our periaps wasn't low enough, so we kind of skipped up a little bit and then continued for a bit. We were deep enough in the atmosphere, we didn't go back out into orbit. So, yeah, there we go. Just a nice safe return. Because most people, you know, when they see movies like Apollo 13, there's the whole, oh, so you have to hit a certain area about as, you know, the width of a piece of paper or whatever on a globe, where if you go too steep you burn up, or if you go too shallow then you skip off the atmosphere. Most people are like, how do you skip off the atmosphere? It's just that you don't slow down enough and you go off back out into space, and obviously in the case of Apollo 13 that would cause you to massively overshoot and then run out of life support and then die in space. So that obviously that was the problem for them. But skipping off into space usually isn't too bad if you have enough life support. You just tend to massively overshoot your mark, which there are some pretty funny stories of things like that happening. Yeah, a little while back I read Chris Hadfield's book, which is An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth, which is actually really good. I'd actually recommended it. I'd recommend it. It's a good book. But in there he described one of the returns of someone else from the ISS, where they something went wrong. I've forgotten exactly what happened, and they massively overshot, and they landed on a farm, just a random farm, and they just crashed down onto this farm, and they were, you know, obviously completely drained from massive maneuvers, you know, being in space that long, everything. They couldn't do anything. So some people, the farmers, pulled them out, and they asked, where did your boat come from? Because they couldn't believe that it had actually come from space. And so they got them out, and they just weren't responding or anything, because they were just so exhausted from being on the ISS for so long. And so they just started ransacking the Soyuz, just taking things out, because they were like, oh, okay, well, you know, free stuff, until obviously some recovery crew actually arrived to pick them up. But I think that's quite an amusing story, actually. Of course, there are much worse re-entry stories, but that's one of the more amusing ones. So here we picked kind of the worst time ever to launch to Minmus, but with a 30-day turn we couldn't actually get a better, well, yeah, we couldn't wait for it to get into a better position. So we've got the Delta V, we've got a nuclear engine stage now, and we've got a lot to do out by Minmus, actually. The one person that's in this capsule is actually a tourist. We're using a probe to control this, because we've got 2 people to go rescue out by Minmus, this tourist as well, and we've also got science data from the surface of Minmus, got to plant a flag, science data from around Minmus, test the rocket motor around Minmus, because we have actually researched it now. I've actually put some science in, and now we actually have the rocket motor after quite a few turns, actually, of just using it as an experimental part from a contract that gave it to us really early, which did give us quite an advantage over Tape. So he had to make old school SSTOs like a scrub, like a loser. Actually, that's pretty cool. That was, yeah, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that. I suck at SSTOs. I really do suck at them. So I should probably get better, because apparently KSP YouTubing, it's all about the SSTOs these days, and making trips with ridiculously small amounts of fuel. Looking at, you know, what's popular in terms of KSP, but you know, I'm still pretty happy with the kind of series that I do. Quite chill, quite laid back. While Popping Clubs of Warfare is really stressful, but yeah, I tend to do pretty unique stuff, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I'm going to start making billions of stupidly efficient SSTOs to everywhere. It's just not the sort of thing I find fun in Kerbal Space Program. But anyway, one thing is, you might have noticed this episode is a little bit late. I say late-ish, as in delayed slightly. That's mainly because I was just taking my time with this, partially because I've been designing lots of stuff for Collaborative Warfare. Like, I've been spending a lot of time working on a submarine. It's basically a U-boat. Ha ha ha, very funny. Yeah, it is essentially a U-boat though. And I got that to work, which is very nice. Also made an aircraft carrier, also made a naval fighter to go onto that aircraft carrier based off the Sea Vixen, and also made something based off the Sukhoi 37, amongst quite a few other things that didn't work out and I put a lot of time into, but didn't work, like my my Tornado and a couple of other things, like my B-1 bomber as well. Well, that's actually been pretty fun doing all the live streams recently, and I afterwards I've been putting them up to YouTube, just putting a thumbnail on them and just putting them up, and people seem to actually like it. People seem to like watching the design process of Collaborative Warfare. So yeah, I mean, I probably will continue doing those. I mean, they're my first few streams I've ever done, so they're certainly not amazing, but they're certainly not bad. And yeah, they're pretty fun to do. Anyway, at this point, I was looking for a landing site, and I saw a little flag that said "No penguins allowed." Well, we cannot stand for this. Capitalist pigs will not tell the glorious Penguinaut Enterprise, I almost said Empire there, glorious Penguinaut Enterprises what to do. No, we're going to go land right on top of that flag. And this is about the time where I realized that gravity scans are actually biome specific, so I'm getting loads of gravity scans over all the different biomes. I didn't realize this. I thought it was just EVA reports, but no, apparently gravity scans are also biome specific when in space above them. So that's nice to know. I mean, I didn't know that until just now, because obviously we haven't got science alert anymore because we're in 1.1.2. But anyway, we're going to land on top of this flag that declares that we are not allowed to be there, and we are going to correct. We're going to correct the flag's message to something far more truthful, something something that'll really piss Tape off. I don't know why I try, so I really do a lot of things to annoy Tape, possibly because his reactions are so priceless when I steal all his stuff and change his flags and defile them. So I think it says something like freedom is the only way yet. No, that cannot stand. We shall replace it. We shall spread a glorious communist revolution to this pitiful capitalist dollar imperialist bunker on Minmus. Yes, Tape sucks. That is quite an appropriate name for this compound, I believe. And just to make sure that Jeb knows we're here, hello, we'll just send him we'll stick a post-it note onto the front of the cupola module just saying, hey, you suck. And he won't be able to get out and scrape it off without like an hour getting into his EVA suit and everything. So, ha! That'll show these capitalist pigs to come to Minmus, which we landed on first. We landed on Minmus first, Tape, and you better accept it because we did, okay? We did. Don't deny it. We landed on Minmus first. Anyway, so we're doing a little biome hop now. I think we've harassed Jeb and the Minmus base enough for one turn. Although we will be back if that flag goes back up with a more insulting message. Well, I'll be back, Tape. I'm gonna pour millions of funds into just defiling your flags and putting stupid messages on them, because that's all this series is about, really. Originally it was, okay, we're not nations, we're just gonna have a fun career mode. Nope, political slander. It always devolves into political slander all the time. Yeah, just whatever, you know. Shh, it's fine. You know, I never actually finished saying earlier, I was talking about the collaborative warfare thing. I have been taking my time, but not just because of collaborative warfare. Tape is also a little busy at the moment. I think he's off seeing his girlfriend, whose name is... Let me see if I can recall this from scrolling through my subscription feed. I think it's Vicky. Tape's getting sticky with Vic. No, don't make that joke, Beardy. Don't make that joke. You promised. I did promise myself I wouldn't make any immature jokes, and I just did. I'm so sorry. That was a little. Okay, that was a little over the line. But still, on with our glorious return from Minmus. So we did a little biome hop, got a load of science, got gravity scans from over different biomes, did all sorts of wonderful things. And we rescued 2 Kerbals and took a tourist, and we did got loads of contracts, loads of money, really profitable mission, 1,500 science and a load of funds. We are just owning Tape right now. Seriously, just Tape, just surrender, just sell your company to me, come on. I mean, what, you cannot even hope to compete. Anyway, so we've got a contract to build a station around the moon. And I said to Tape, how'd you like to build an international moon station? And he hadn't seen what I'd done to his flag yet, so he agreed! Haha! I'm sure he would change his mind if he'd seen what I've done to his flag. But thankfully I managed to catch him before he did, so we tricked him into agreeing. So essentially all I need him to add to this is crew capacity. It needs 19 Kerbals worth of crew capacity, so we're sending up 5 on this with the... No, 6 on this, yeah. Is it 6? Yeah, 6. 6 on this with the crew cabin and also the cockpit, although it is still unmanned because we haven't put anybody in these SSTOs for quite a while. We didn't have a particularly efficient launch because I haven't actually flown an SSTO in a little while, so I'm a little bit rusty and I just suck at SSTOs in general. So yeah, this one's got all the science equipment on it because we'll probably send a science lab to it at some point, although not next turn, because next turn is our Dres window and we're going to go to Dres. I'm sure Tape will probably go to Moho, hopefully. I don't care if Tape wants to go to Moho just to make a point that, you know, since Moho is more difficult to get to than Dreaz, I don't want him going to the same body as me, because then he's just going to go on a ridiculously high energy trajectory to get there first, and then I'm just going to have to spend loads of Delta V to try and get there first. It's just going to be a never-ending race, and then I would do my turn, and then he would do his landing, like time-wise, during my turn, and he'd speed it up to be like seconds before mine, because no, Tape is... We get too competitive in everything, don't we? Literally every series we do, we get just like Twitchy and Agonarch, they're perfectly chilled. No, we're always tooth and nail, just too competitive all the time. But I think it makes for relatively entertaining videos, so I think it's okay. That is good water. Yummy. Water, God's holy water. Anyway. Yeah, talking about Tape and me getting a little too competitive, what should we do when Space Race ends? Because clearly I am just wrecking Tape, and it's actually at the rate we're going through the tech tree. I think maybe another 10-15 turns maximum will be through the tech tree, although the Interstellar parts of the tech tree do require a lot of science. But no, I think in another... Yeah, in another 10-15 turns we'll have actually finished Space Race, so it won't be too long until we're finished. So I was thinking, actually, after I haven't proposed this to Tape yet, but I just want to see what you guys think. Maybe we could do some kind of Collaborative Warfare like prelude series, so, you know, using World War I, World War II technology, have a little bit of a tech progression, just me and Tape. And instead of across the entire world, just have it, you know, one corner of Kerbin, so just like one peninsula between two small warring countries could be like how Kerbal's originally developed warfaring technology in the first place, because it doesn't really make sense that cute, innocent space exploration creatures would suddenly have loads of advanced weaponry. So I don't know, maybe that'd be cool, you know. We'd probably have far different rules, so we'd have rules similar to Space Race, you know, ton limits and stuff, as opposed to vessel launches. So you could launch like 1 billion biplanes, or one massive heavy bomber, or maybe a bomber escorted by biplanes, and, you know, it's things like that. You know, that, I think it'd be pretty cool. We wouldn't do it using dark multiplayer. Just stop asking. Not going to happen. It just wouldn't work. So no, not going to happen. But I think that'd be pretty chill, actually. Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent idea. But there are plenty of ideas for maybe the next series that we do. If Tape wants to do another series with me at all, he might be completely sick of me at this point. We did run out of fuel here, though, and that's the problem. We're not in the orbit I wanted. I wanted to be equatorial and at about 50 kilometers orbiting, and we're not. So the next one, which we're sending up to add on to it, which has got an ISRU, because that's one of the requirements. This needs to have 19 Kerbals, an ISRU, and 5,000 units of ore on board. So we're going to need to send another mission, which is going to be quite expensive, but this is a very good, well-paid station contract. But yeah, we're going to need to land on the moon. Actually, no, we don't. No, we don't have to extract the ore. We just need to carry the ore up there, because you can actually fill ore tanks in the VAB. Yeah, okay, so we don't actually need to mine it. Okay, actually, now I think about it, yeah, we can send the ore, and also we can send the science lab. We can send all of that up in one launch, I think. Yeah, we can squish that all into one launch quite comfortably, I think. Yeah, that'd be pretty chill, pretty cool. Anyway, this one is slightly redesigned, so it's got a lot more fuel, and I designed it just so it can go up there, dock, and then they have enough fuel to correct the orbits and get it into the correct place, as well as the previous one had all of the life support. So this one I took off all the life support, took off all the unnecessary stuff, all the science equipment, took it all off, replaced it with just fuel and that ISRU at the back behind the nuclear engine. I considered putting 2 ISRUs on, but I wanted to save weight, so I just have one, and then the nuclear engine on the back and some fuel pipes connecting the engine to the fuel tanks. And yeah, this one's got a lot more Delta V. I think I had a much more efficient launch as well. I didn't pitch up quite so sharply because it has a little bit more trouble gaining speed. So I got through the sound barrier much lower altitude, so I picked up more speed in the atmosphere, and also had much more oxidizer, so had a much more efficient injection into orbit. So I'm just drowning in Delta V. There's so much Delta V on this, so I was pretty happy with how this launched, and I was pretty happy with how this mission went. Although the previous one had no fuel, this one's got tons of fuel. It's really weird. Like, I can launch the same SSTO twice in a row, and the first one will have bucket loads of Delta V, and the next one will have no Delta V, because my flight patterns just change just a bit, and then that can affect it just massively. SSTOs are just so finicky. they're just annoying, but they're pretty cool. And obviously ridiculously useful, although some of these burns did take a long time. So I ended up just watching Tape's Road to Exploration, which I will admit I do enjoy Tape's Road to Exploration, and his City Skylines is a pretty interesting insight into how his mind works, I will be honest. Although he says pretty much always ends up talking about Iraq or Donald Trump for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure about that, but you know, just let Tape's mind work how it works, you know. Whatever he wants to talk about, let him talk about it. I'm drinking a lot because I'm really thirsty. It's been a long day, okay? Like exams and stuff, they just don't end. Like, they're ramping up now. I think I had a total of 27 and I've completed like 12 of them now. So so many exams, jeez. I feel sorry for some of my friends who've got like 7.5 hours worth of exams on like one day, whereas mine tend to be a little more spaced out, but not much more spaced out. It's still pretty annoying. I mean, just before this I was cramming in biology revision, and a lot of people seem to assume, just from, I think my voice is more deep than a lot of teenagers, but so people seem to assume that I'm much older than I am, and people seem to assume that Agonarch and Twitchy, they're all younger. You know, there's pretty substantial age differences between all of us, and I mean, somebody on a live stream asked me when my birthday was. I mean, I'm not that stupid. I'm not going to tell you when my birthday is, because that's the sort of thing you use for security questions and all that. No, I'm not dumb, but I am still a teenager, contrary to some belief. And a lot of subscribers have been like, well, Beardy, I'm older than you, ha 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 ha, banter, yeah, shut up, I've got 8,000 subs, that makes me semi-popular-ish, so, ha, ha, I'm also a communist, and also, I'm accused of being a Nazi in multiple YouTube series in which I turn an innocent space game into horrific warfare and political slander. Am I a bad person? I'm probably a bad person for doing that, aren't I? Anyway, we're just getting an intersect with our previous one. It's quite easy because, you know, moon orbit rendezvous is pretty easy because you know, the moon's got quite low gravity, so it doesn't require a huge amount of delta V, and we actually have a huge amount of delta V, so it's all quite fine. Although we do not have much monopropellant on this at all, so the actual docking itself was pretty difficult. It took quite a while to line them up, because I had to dock them together, and then I was thinking, okay, so let's while docked together, then let's move it into the correct orbit. But they're pretty symmetrical SSTOs, so docking them together at the right angle should mean that firing both engines shouldn't induce too much rotation. Well, that was the plan, and yeah, well, I guess it sort of worked, but here we go, we're just coming in pretty slowly actually. So yeah, we still had a lot of delta V, and there's actually going to be some fuel left on this station for a little bit of refueling. I mean, I say fuel, there's not going to be much fuel, and it's just liquid fuel. It's a lot of delta V for one of these small SSTO spacecraft using nuclear engines, but it's not going to refuel anything substantial. It might refuel like a small probe or something if it needs refueling. I mean, I don't really see why we would use this. I mean, whereas a refuel station around Kerbin makes sense, one around the moon does not make sense at all, because the amount of delta V required to get into orbit around the moon and then rendezvous kind of defeats the point of refueling in the first place. You're going to use far more fuel than you're going to gain from refueling from something, unless it's like a massive spacecraft. So, yeah, we have some fuel on here, but we're not going to put a huge fuel store on here like we've got a pretty huge one on Calumet Station. Not that me or Tape have either of us has actually used that fuel store yet. There's over 4,000 units of liquid fuel on that station, and neither of us have used it, so it's be pretty useful for refueling SSTOs to other planets maybe. Because I've got a claim to 2,000 units of that, and he's got a claim to 2,000 units as well. So, yeah, I guess. But there we go. That docking did take a lot longer than I actually showed. I cut out most of it. Now I was just trying to get into an equatorial orbit so Tape can dock his modules on with relative ease. All Tape is doing is adding the crew capacity for me, and I'm just adding crew capacity for him, and the communications, and you know, all that jazz. So yeah, we're just helping each other out really. He's probably going to have different stuff on there, like a science lab or something. And yeah, you can see the actual engine. It didn't induce too much rotation at a low thrust. But of course, if Tate puts a science lab on, I won't be able to use his science lab. That would be cheating, so I'd have to launch my own science lab. But that's fine. So not next turn, because next turn we're going to Dres, and that will probably use both of our launches to assemble the spacecraft in orbit. Yeah, so maybe the turn after that, we will complete this station with some ore and some stuff and some fuel and all of that goodness, and I'm sure Tate will add some modules onto it next turn, possibly. If not with his rockets, then maybe with his SSTOs. But there we go. That has been Kerbal Space Program Space Race. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.